May I request you to please take your seats. Our chief guest, Shri Prem Prasad, Chairman Coal India is here, and also our guest of honor, Shri Devachis Senji, former chairman, West Bengal HIDCO is here. May I request Shri PM Prasad ji to come to the dais and Mr. Devachis Sen also to please come on the dais. May I request Mr. Parthi also to take the place on the dais. And I also request Shri M.N. Jha, Treasurer and former CMD, SCCL and CMPDI, to come on the dais. May I request others to please take your seats. We are about to start. I'm sure more and more people, as the time passes, are going to come and join, like yesterday. Mandal Sahab, Mr. Mandal. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to you all to this CLI 2025 International Conference and Expo on the theme Decarbonization of Supply Chain, Challenges and Opportunities. We are very happy to have Shri PM Prasad, Chairman Coal India Limited, as our chief guest, and Shri Devachis Sen, IES, former Additional Secretary, West Bengal, and CMD, former CMD, West Bengal HIDCO, our guest of honor of this conference. We are also glad to have Shri Alok Parthi, Chairman, Indian Coal Forum, and former Secretary, Coal, and Shri M.N. Jha, former CMD, SCCL, and CMPD on the dais with us. Now, may I request Shri Alok Parthi ji to welcome the chief guest, Shri PM Prasad, with the floral bouquet. Now may I request our chief guest, Shri PM Prasad ji, to inaugurate the conference by lighting the auspicious lamp. This is supposed to be by remote. वहीं से कर दीजिए सर. Technology has its own problems. Thank you, Mr. Prasad and Mr. Sen, for doing the honors for us. India is the fastest developing economy in the world and thus is going to have very high energy demand in the years to come. The only indigenous energy source available in abundance with us is coal. Thus, the coal production has to keep pace with the huge rising energy demand. Of late, the growth of coal production has been much higher than in the past, and the last year, the coal sector achieved the much-awaited milestone of producing 1 billion tons of coal. The MOC allotting commercial coal blocks through auction route also helped. 3 years coal production in this commercial block and captive sector has been around 12%, whereas the captive and commercial coal block achieved a much higher growth for the past 3 years on an average of about 28%. This surge is a broader trend of increased production from the commercial and captive mines, which saw a 28.11 percentage rise to 197.50 million tons in the year 2024-25. Overall, India's coal production for the financial year 2024 was 1 billion tons, the highest ever in the country. We have a target of producing 1.5 billion tons by the year 2030. We are also importing nearly 250 million tons of coal, including coking coal, which is around 60 million tons. After producing enough coal to meet the rising demand, the next equally important job is to ensure that this coal reaches the consumer fast and that too in time. The current coal movement pattern is railways, including rail-cum-sea route is 55%, road is around 26%, MGR 17%, and belt conveyors and ropeways is 2% only. If we have to make the total supply chain green and decarbonized, then we have to pay attention to the following broad points I'm making. We have a lot of speakers during the day who will talk on this to take suitable action. On coal production, methane emission from the coal seams during mining, CBM recovery in advance of mining has to be paid attention. It has been going for a long time, but the desired results that was envisaged, I was a CBM man, I had completed a UNDP, Government of India project in Munidi, but after that, it petered down. Diesel consumption in excavation, hauling and dozing, we have to go for electrical equipment. CO2 emission from the road and rail transport has to be eliminated by non-use of diesel and go for electric railway engines. Road transport needs to be totally eliminated. Fugitive dust and energy loss during handling and cold storage has to be taken care of. Mines should generate their own green power, particularly solar, for use in mines by insulating installing solar panels at the excavated areas. The goal is to adopt cleaner technologies, electrifying operations, improve operational efficiency, and optimize logistics to reduce overall carbon footprint. Coal transport. First mile connectivity, no road transport. Belt conveyor and other mechanized means must be adopted for transportation of coal from mine to railways, loading point, and also to the nearest consumer rather than taking the coal to him by road. Mechanized loading, use of silos for wagon loading must be adopted. Long distance transport, no road transport. Transport by rail-cum-sea route should be examined very closely. Consumer at its own end should also employ mechanized unloading and mechanized transport up to the storage as far as possible, and all equipment should be electrical. Over the next decade, India must focus on electrifying mining operations and equipments, expanding rail and sea route infrastructure, deploying EV and hydrogen-powered vehicles, integrating digital tools for emission monitoring and logistic operation. Now I request Shri Alok Partiji to give the welcome address. Shri Alok Partiji is the chairman of Indian Coal Forum, an organization which was set up in 1997. He is a 1977 batch IAS from Assam Meghalaya cadre. He is former Secretary, Ministry of Coal, Government of India. He has served in key ministries including Coal, Defence and Health and Welfare, and was on the boards of Coal India, NLC and Defence PSUs. An alumnus of Allahabad University and LSE UK. He has also worked with WHO and UNICEF and was member secretary to the Kelkar Committee on the Defence Acquisition. So, Mr. Parthi, sir.
Mr. P.M. Prasad, Chairman Coal India, Mr. Devasi Sen, retired Additional Chief Secretary, government of West Bengal. And he doesn't need an introduction. He is the maker of this great building, the one who designed and got it made. Mr. Aran Gautam, Mr. Jha, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fifth edition of CLI, which normally called is Coal Log India. It's a series of seminars and conferences that Indian Coal Forum has been holding in Kolkata, and this being the fifth in its series. The purpose for initiating this initially was to look at basically logistics. Then we looked at various other aspects. And every time we tried to pick a topic which is more contemporary and more relevant to the circumstances and the time. This time we are discussing decarbonizing the coal supply chain. If we actually divide the coal supply chain into three parts, one is basically pre-combustion, which is essentially the mining area, the mining part. How do we make that activity greener? We have a session in this conference that looks at green mining. How can mining per se can be less polluting than what it is today? The second portion of the chain is really the usage, which is it's both. In fact, the first part also takes into account the transportation, movement of the ore from the mine to the user. And as Mr. Gautam said, there are several means of doing it, whether you use the rail, the road, the